Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the collective consciousness. Like, what the heck is it? This is one of those terms that's in the spiritual realm that people like to throw around a lot, and they're just like, yeah, the collective consciousness, or like the collective, or like, yeah, just be like consciousness in general. And I'm just over here like, okay, so what if you don't know, what if we don't know what collective consciousness is? So let's break it down. So we can split this up into two parts. So we have the collective, we have consciousness. And so the collective, I do have notes and I want to make sure. The collective is just this is the way that I see it, is like a giant bubble. And I saw this on another page the other day, and I'm like, wow, that's how I see it, which is really awesome. But it's just like this giant bubble of just everything that humanity knows, past, present, and future. And so that is really what's coming into it, is that collective being just like what everybody knows, like humanity in general, what we learned in the past, going back like way back to when we first started, into the present, like what's happening now, and into the future, like what do we see ourselves doing, what timelines do we see ourselves, because there's so many opportunities. This is literally everything. It's a collection of everything in this now moment. And so it's just a collection of knowledge, and knowledge being data. So it's just a collection, formulation of data and what it is. And so it's just like all of this just like in this big collage that's happening in the collective consciousness. With that being said, I mentioned like it's the past, present, and future knowledge, just all of those wrapped up into one place. And so how does that happen is that within each person, each individual, we have the opportunity, well, not the opportunity, but we have the human understanding, the human capacity. In our DNA, we actually store all of our memories. All of our memories are stored within us. Our body keeps a hold of all of these memories, all of our emotions, all of our traumas, all of our successes, celebrations, all of the things that we've experienced are within our body. So if you have if you've been having aches and pains in a specific part of your body, there is a reason why on your memory level, because all of our traumas, all of our things, all of our emotions are trapped in our body, in our system. And so with it being the collective, if something happens to the collective, we will feel it in our bodies. That's why so many of us are feeling exhausted right now, tired, headaches, all of these things happening. Yes, there are ascension symptoms, which we'll get into in another video, but these ascension symptoms that are happening are because we are experiencing memories that are releasing from us, because we are experiencing things that we have experienced in lifetime after lifetime, being expunged, is that a word? Purged, released, loved so much that they are finally letting go, that we're finally coming to this place of just being us. And so with it being the collective is just that understanding, that collection of knowledge, that collection of data that we've gained from past, present, and future selves. And then moving into consciousness, what is consciousness? Okay, because we have conscious and then we have unconscious. So obviously conscious is going to be like when you're awake versus when you're sleeping. And so when you're conscious, you are actively knowing what you are doing. You're actively making choices. Whereas when you're unconscious, you're not able to make those choices. You're just, it's not in the unconscious capabilities. But when we're conscious, we have that knowing, and we are aware of all of the choices that we're making. And if we're not, there's still a part of us that's unconscious. And so we're seeing more when we're conscious and using that consciousness that is us. Like, we are just energy, and energy itself is just like down to the subatomic particle. It's just energy. And so what makes us is energy and consciousness. Because energy vibrates, and it vibrates so much that it makes us different than a couch, different from the shirt, different than other things. So we're vibrating on a different frequency than the material objects around us, than the other person next to us, making us separate beings, separate entities. And then we have consciousness, and then we have unconscious. I lost my train of thought right there. But so we see more, it's because we're in the present more. So we have these vibrations happening, and so it's making us, so that we then add the consciousness into it, and then we are a conscious, multi-dimensional being. Like, what? And so where does consciousness come from? I feel like in my understanding, it comes from our soul. It comes from that depth of us. That's where our consciousness is. And so if you're not in touch with your soul, with your being, with your essence, you're just going to be an unconscious sheep. Basically, that's another word going around, is the sheeple. And so we're able to transition, sheeple. And so when we're conscious, we are now able to interact with the unconscious. We're now able to explain things on a heightened perspective to the unconscious level, hoping to catalyze their shift into their awakening. But yeah, so collective consciousness being a collection of data, and then consciousness being that action of consciously making choices, the ability to make choices actively. And so we have this collection of data and this ability to make choices knowingly, and then you put them together, you have the collective consciousness. And so it's just this giant big bubble of understandings and knowledge, and then we add consciousness to it, and like, what do we do with that knowledge? That is what we're here for. That is what I'm here for. That is what you're here for. Like, how do we use this information to progress into where we want to be? And so that, in my understanding, is what the collective consciousness is. Let me know how this video resonated with you. Give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. And then also, if you haven't already, subscribe to hear more. I'm hoping to do lots more of these like spiritual terminologies and just breaking them down. But yeah, let me know how this resonated for you. I'd love to know. Okay, see you next time. Bye.